tubasuhuza tunabifuza ibihe byiza abakunzi ba Connection TV muri hagiye hatandukanye. Hano turi ni mu cyumba cya Serena Hotel, ni icyumba cyabereyemo umuhango wo kumurika umushinga mushya ugomba gufasha abanyafurika ndetse n'u Rwanda muri rusange. Urwo Rwanda nirwo tugiye kureberaho nk'uko mubibona. Ni umushinga wa BIM, Advancing Clean Energy Infrastructure Across African Rwanda. Uyu ni umushinga wa prezidanswe na CEO wayo yitwa Desmond Witre. Yasobanuye byinshi kuri uyu mushinga. Ni umushinga ugiye gufasha by'umwihariko ibinyabiziga, sekiteri yo gutwara abantu n'ibintu. Hari gukora amabateri y'ibinyabiziga, bateri za moto, gukora bateri z'imodoka zikoresha amashanyarazi. Mbese ni umushinga mugari ugomba gusiga u Rwanda rwisanze handi nta binyabiziga bya moteri tuzongera kugira. Ubwo nibikomeza kudufasha. Uyu Desmond Witre, amazina yabo agoranye, yasobanuye ko uno muhora wa Hormuz, uyu muhora yawugarutseho cyane, ako uyu muhora uza nukuvuga ngo ntacyo uzigera utwara u Rwanda ku bijyanye n'ibi ngibi. Nukuvuga ngo bafunga umuhora bawihorere. Iyi company ya BIM igiye gufasha u Rwanda ku bijyanye n'ibyo byose mbabwiye. Ubwo rero nk'uko yakomeje kubisobanura, mwamukurikiye aravuga mu cyongereza, natwe rwose murabikurikira mu kinyarwanda tugenda tubisobanura, mukomeze gusobanukirwa buri kimwe cyose, ibi byiza byose bije bisanga abanyarwanda.
Hello, everybody. My name is Desmond Wheatley. I'm the president and CEO of San Diego headquartered BIM Global. We're a sustainable technology innovation company. As I said, headquartered in San Diego, California, with a factory there. We also have factories in Chicago, Illinois, where we make batteries. And then in Europe, we have factories and offices in Belgrade and in Craiova. That's our BIM Europe facilities. And then lastly, in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East, we have the headquarters of BIM Middle East, from where we address the Middle Eastern market and also as a gateway to Africa. Just briefly on BIM Global, we are, as I said, a sustainable technology innovation company. We invent, engineer, design, and manufacture a suite of products for three market verticals. I like to think of it as a three-legged stool. The first of those is energy security and storage. So we make batteries to store electricity, very high energy dense batteries, very safe batteries. And then we also make a suite of products that provide electricity even in very severe conditions. So we have hurricane-proof products, flood-proof products used by militaries and governments and corporations all over the world. The second leg of the three-legged stool is the electrification of transportation. We make products which enable the electrification of transportation by generating and storing electricity right where vehicles of all sorts want to charge. It's not just cars, 2 wheels, 3 wheels, cars, trucks, buses even, and even aircraft. We've powered aircraft, submersibles, drones, all sorts of other pieces of equipment like that. So that's the electrification of transportation. And then the third market vertical that we go after is smart cities infrastructure, by which we simply mean a more, or adding intelligence to the built infrastructure, making streetlights not just put light out, but sense if there's been a gunshot or if there's unhealthy air, if there's a drone flying overhead. In general, just adding intelligence to the built city infrastructure, turning infrastructure into data gathering and management solutions for cities and the people who live there to make their lives safer and more efficient. Very happy to be here in Rwanda today. Just arrived in Kigali last night. It's been a tremendous trip. Been very warmly welcomed. Thank you very much for that. And I've been very well looked after by the BIM team here in Rwanda. And today we've had a day of meetings with government ministers and the energy ministry, infrastructure ministry, and also the development industry or ministry here as well. It's been a great learning trip for me. I'm looking forward to coming back and going to work in Rwanda.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Kagawa. I'm from KP Media. So my question is about now that we are seeing the war in Iran, so we see the rise of price, petrol price. So how this partnership will help a country like Rwanda adapt to these trends?
It's an excellent question. The situation in the Gulf right now is just another reminder of how volatile the oil industry is. Just in the past few days, we've seen fluctuations in price which are just almost without historic precedent. Nowadays, just a tweet can make the price of oil go up very dramatically or go down very dramatically. Beyond that, the supply chain itself is very vulnerable and volatile. What we've seen going on in the Straits of Hormuz is that 20% of the world's oil supplies can be interrupted just like flicking a switch. And because oil is fungible, when you interrupt 20% of it, the impact on pricing is global. Now, Rwanda is a nation which imports 100% of its liquid fuels for its vehicles, diesel and gasoline. And so that means several things. First of all, it makes you very vulnerable to things which are going on outside Rwanda, things that you cannot control, things that you have no say over. It also means that you're sending a great deal of your country's foreign exchange into other nations to buy fuel. And then what do we do with that fuel? We burn it and it goes out the tailpipe and pollutes. So it's really hard to find anything very good about it, okay? Except that it moves people around. Mobility is very important. What we at Beam are specialized in is providing ways to deploy rapidly deployed and highly scalable infrastructure that takes renewable energy and puts it directly into transportation of all shapes and sizes. Now, what's interesting about that is, first of all, Rwanda has lots of renewable energy. These are your own resources. You do not need to cross national boundaries to get these. You do not need to give up foreign exchanges or your own currency to get these resources. They are resources that you already own and that have been put here by God, if you believe in Him, or by nature or science or whatever else. But they're here in Rwanda and you own them today. So to the extent that we can provide infrastructure that converts those natural resources into mobility and relieves you of the requirement to rely on foreign sources, which are very expensive, very volatile, and frankly, very unreliable, that's clearly going to be a very good thing for the citizens of Rwanda. And just one other point on that. We know, the data shows us, evidence all over the world, that when people have reliable sources of electricity, they do better. When people have reliable mobility, the means to move around, they do better. And so our products, Beam Global's products, and in working with the various departments of the Rwandan government, we hope will provide the people of Rwanda with the opportunity to have that reliable, sustainable, clean, safe, and affordable electricity, and combine that with reliable, sustainable, clean, safe, and affordable mobility to have a better life.
Okay. So, how long do you think it will take for one?
Well, I'm a very impatient person, so I'd like to see it happen sooner than later. But we have to remember, first of all, we're entering a new market. It's always important to enter a new market with humility. We're here to listen, we're here to learn, we're here to understand what the requirements are. And at the end of the day, we will only be half of the equation. We have the technology, we have the ability, we have the financial resources to make it easy for Rwanda to take advantage of these things. But on the other side of that equation will be your government, will be your ministries, and will be the private sector, frankly. Now, the good news is that today we've been in non-stop meetings with the very ministries who make these types of decisions. And we have not heard anyone saying it's a bad idea to have renewably energized electricity, sustainable electricity. We haven't heard anybody saying it's a bad idea to have electric transportation. On the contrary, your entities like REG, who we met with earlier, they're aggressively adding renewable energy to the mix. They're aggressively providing for the electrification of transportation. 7,000 electric vehicles here already, 20,000 plus electric motorcycles here already. So the efforts are being made. You need a lot more infrastructure and you need it quickly. We will provide that as quickly as is possible, faster than anybody else can, frankly. But again, we're only half of the equation. There's a pull as well as a push. We can do the push, but we'll have to wait for the pull from the part of the decision makers in this country. And we do that with humility.
Anyways, will you work with all companies in Rwanda? Those companies who are using batteries? Will you work with all companies?
Yes, we will. I think something's really important to point out. We don't compete with electric vehicle charging companies. We enable them. We give them tools to do their job better and faster. a more robust way with a lower total cost of ownership. We don't compete with utilities. We provide tools for them so that they can do what they do, which is providing electricity to their customers. And to the extent that there are other companies here, in fact, we're already providing batteries to a couple of companies who are operating in Rwanda today. To the extent that there are more of those, and there will be, because we're all going to rely on electricity and batteries more in the future, not less, then we will do everything that we can to support them, certainly. And beyond that, it's our ambition to find local people here and to train them. Certainly when we deploy infrastructure here in the long run, we're going to need after-sales support. We're going to need people in the country who understand the product, who can maintain the product, who can help the customers and all that sort of stuff. So that's about creating employment and careers in the future technologies, not the technologies of yesterday, technologies of tomorrow, which is what we do. So it's about creating technology solutions, creating infrastructure solutions, but it's also about people. Ultimately, it always comes down to people. We want to help the people with the technology and the products, but we also want to help people by teaching them, employing them, and creating opportunities for them.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, as far as purchase power is concerned, I know Adepe is known of working with communities, especially rural communities. How affordable is this energy when you see also the purchase power of people here?
The great thing about using renewable resources, which is what we do, is that the unit cost for energy is zero. We deploy infrastructure that takes solar energy or wind energy and converts it into electricity, stores it in batteries, and then makes it available to people 24 hours a day. Obviously, it's no good having this type of infrastructure if it only works when the sun is shining or it only works when it's windy. So that's how we use our battery technology to buffer those things and to take the intermittency out of those supplies. But the unit cost of the energy is zero. What we need to do is figure out how do we take care of the capital expense that's associated with this infrastructure. And in that instance, there are lots of really clever ways to do that. First of all, we can bring intelligent and very flexible financing options to the table, which allow for low-cost capital paid off in a long period of time. And when you balance that against savings against diesel and gasoline, which is again money leaving the country, this would be money that stays in the country, pays for infrastructure that stays in the country. That's a way of taking money that's being poorly spent now and making it be well spent. I mean, it's essential, don't get me wrong, I understand they have to do it, but it'd be much better if it was for infrastructure within the country. And then beyond that, there are other sources of funding too, and other intelligent business models that we can bring to bear to where we can make the energy very inexpensive. And by the way, in some cases, free. So this is going to be a solution for each different circumstance that we come up against. That's one of the things I like about it. It's better than diesel and gasoline, which the transaction is always the same. You go, you pump fuel into your vehicle, and you part with cash. In the case of what we're talking about, there are lots of innovative business models that we can use to make it inexpensive and affordable. I don't have those answers yet. I have them in other markets. We're in 23 nations globally today, but as I say, we're here to learn, and we're going to use our innovation, and we're going to use the innovation that Rwandans are famous for to come up with good solutions to make this affordable and accessible. It's about democratizing access to energy and to mobility.
Currently, Rwanda is promoting vehicles with
Electrical vehicles?
electric vehicles.
Yes.
And considering that you've been visiting different industries, how flexible are they, or how are they going to? How is the government going to be the?
How will they compete?
I can't know that at the moment because it's early days, but what I've again discovered today just from the initial meetings that we've had is that they are enthusiastic about the technology. They're enthusiastic about the solutions. As people have said to me several times today, we like pragmatic solutions. We like solutions which are ready to deploy, that are proven. Other people have used it. The US Army is our biggest customer. We're deployed in the harshest conditions in the world. So we're pragmatic solutions, deployable solutions, scalable solutions, and flexible solutions they like. So I hope that we will receive a lot of support for this. I can't know, but certainly the timing is right. Rwanda's in a good position for this right now. The war in the Gulf, if there's a silver lining to every cloud, which there generally is, one of them is that it's helping people understand that this is a good time to do this. And so we're looking for support, and we anticipate it.